thermal thruster, strangest mode of transportation just after the pogo stick and the one-way bungee cord.
Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Now, instead of talking about Pyro, today we have to take a look at our hulking, lovable Goliath of the Badlands, Little Misha. The Heavy lost the war, and subsequently, the Jungle Inferno update from October 12th, which is now from over a year ago, was for the mask-murdering Mumbler. What?! This means that the next update for TF2, not counting the smaller updates for including more stupid comp badges, but the next major update should be, theoretically, for the Heavy. What?! Potentially bringing a couple new weapons to the table, along with lots of weapon balancing and a truckload of new community-made cosmetics. Maybe even a new map or two, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Speaking of content for updates we'll probably never see in the game, assets from the community-made Frontline update continue to collect layers of dust as they sit unused in Valve's Community Workshop vault. I, for one, really like the idea of a World War II theme for the TF2 game. Not only does it seem like it fits the general era from which the characters in TF2 hail from, and Soldier would probably have a heart attack. If the TF team needed a way to fit this into the story, just write it out as a flashback, or the engineer and medic were experimenting with some kind of super teleporter designed to carry the whole team, which backfires and sends them all back in time. Team Fortress community worked really hard on these maps, cosmetics, weapons, and after looking at some of these myself, I continue to ponder why Valve hasn't decided to say, okay, the next update will be World War II themed. If the TF team decides to go with a World War II themed update, you can bet a lot of new players will pick up the game, as the demand for World War I and II themed games are on the rise. You might even meet a few of the old die-hard Battlefield 1942 fans picking it up solely for the World War II content. The only real question if the TF team decides to go with a Frontline update is if the community can be trusted with making cosmetics for Medic. Months ago we talked about the Titanium Tank events, and I'd like to congratulate everyone who got to participate. Potato has launched a new custom MBM map campaign using the same old tried and true method of tricking new players into playing their awful high ping servers, free badges. A lot of these maps are actually really great, including two of my favorites, Doppler and Symphony of Space. Doppler is a 3-stage map that expands outward as you progress through the waves. It begins inside a small office area, which honestly the only way I could think of describing it would be as indoor Banana Bay but with robots. And by that I mean the stage looks very maze-like, and the bots follow two separate paths that wrap around and overlap each other. First wave is honestly the hardest part of the map due to how little map you have to fall back on and try and regain a foothold against Greyman's collection of industrial vacuum cleaners. But with a skilled enough pyro or any class with a push mechanic, you can easily push the bomb carrier off the numerous ledges. It's also a very nice map to look at, and the inclusion of all the neat little shortcuts dotted around the map really help when getting around. After the first wave, the second stage is unlocked, which appears to be some sort of submarine docking bay. Ironically, the second wave is a lot easier than the first, and in my opinion, once you find a party capable of handling the first wave, you're pretty much guaranteed to complete the mission. That is, if you can find a scout who doesn't bail after the first unsuccessful attempt. I actually had a lot of pleasure playing this map with a couple of fans, members of the crew, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Blade64, who created this wonderful map. If I had any suggestions, it would be to increase the difficulty in the following waves. The other map that really stood out to me was Symphony of Space. As I'm sure you already noticed, this map uses a lot of assets from the unused RD asteroid, along with a few other custom designs. The entire mission takes place on a moon base, inside and out on the moon's surface, which is a nice break from the Badlands. To take a step further, all robots are using space-themed weapons including the Bat Saber, Bison, Shooting Star, and most creatively, a minigun that shoots bison-like projectiles rapidly and can pierce through medic shields. Yeah, good luck with that one. Along with these are some other interesting bots. The most irritating bot to combat, aside from the previously mentioned laser heavies, are the magnetized heavies, which are essentially Natasha heavies, but cranked up to 100 because they can completely reduce a scout, the fastest and most mobile class in the game, to the speed of a revved up Brass Beast heavy. Putting these frustratingly annoying mechanics aside, this map is both huge and beautiful to look at. It really feels like you're in space, and playing on this map, I think this is truly the way that robot destruction was meant to be played. I'd love to see these maps and many more implemented in man-up mode. Unfortunately, there's no way of knowing if any of these will become in the game because once again, the TF team has stopped updating us with blog posts. Any attempts to reach out to Valve or the TF team about potential updates or bug fixes is like shouting into the abyss. Alright, well it looks like that's all we've got for this week unless, hang on. Do you guys hear that? What the hell is that?
I'm back in the New York.